Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be building this, a flush trimming plane. Stick around. So today we're going to be building a flush trimming plane. Now you can purchase these online. They come in multiple different configurations. I happened to see one, I think on Instagram, that was in one of the advertisements, and I said, you know, I could make that rather than purchase it. Now the flush trimming plane is a great tool to have in the shop. A couple of purposes. One, to clean up glue squeeze out on glued panels, let's say, and let's say you had a box that was built and you had some glue squeeze on the inside. You can take this and actually go get into the inside of the corners and get the glue out. It's also great for flush trimming dowels and such. Now I made this using scrap wood. Well, I wouldn't call it scrap, it was cut-offs from a cutting board that I laminated together to use it. And I designed it similar to the one I seen online. And I made it so the blade is held on by a magnet. Let me get closer. The blade is held in place by a magnet. And I have a couple dowels here that run along this to keep it in line so it doesn't move around. All right, so stick around and watch how I made this, and when we get near the end, we will show you exactly how it works. To build this tool, what I'm going to do is take two pieces of scrap cut-offs from a couple cutting boards I made, and I'm going to glue them up into this block. So now we're going to need a blade. So I do have a blade. It was bought some time ago to make a plane, if that never happened. So we are going to use that. This is from Hot Tools. You can see it still has the chip worker with it. So let's get that off of there. So here's the blade, and this is going to be attached to this wooden block via some magnets. And I also have some 5/16 dowel rod, which is what we're going to use to stabilize the blade in the bottom of the actual, we'll call it a chisel plane, let's say. This should definitely make it easier to clean up the glue squeeze out and to trim dowels and things of that nature. Again, I've seen this online. They're selling them. I think we could probably put one together with what we have in the shop here. So first things first, we were going to cut a groove in the bottom of this that is going to be deep enough to hide the blade, and we'll leave this back section here to support the blade. Let's get that done. So I figured the safest way to put the groove in this wood block would be to use the table saw sled. So first thing we're going to do is take our plane blade, and I'm going to put it up next to the saw blade, and we're going to adjust the height of the blade to this. With the line marked, I'm just going to place it on the kerf mark on the sled here, and we're going to cut our groove. I didn't use a flat blade, so I have these little grooves that are left over. So I'm gonna see if I can take them down a bit with this chisel here, just to smooth them out a bit. I don't know if it's gonna affect the surface if I left them or not, but we'll find out. So I'm just gonna slowly shave these away until they're almost gone. Now, if I used one of my dado blades and took out individually, I wouldn't be doing this right now. So keep that in mind for next time or if you try to do this yourself. And I tried to use the old slide it across the slopes, the saw blade trick, but I already trimmed the end off, and you can see this one's a little deeper here. So yeah, that wasn't possible. Let's see how that does. Blade on. That's level. All right. That looks good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to shape the handle a little bit. Maybe take a core box bit, put a groove in both sides, and then maybe round over the edge here to give us something comfortable to hold on to. I got the block in the vise. I'm gonna put my blade where I want it. And then I'm going to use my 5/16 brad point drill bit to mark where I want to put my holes. Put one there. I'll put a second one here. Then I'm going to take my magnet and put it here. And then we'll mark around that so I know where to drill. Hopefully center, so we want to drill right about here. So we'll drill to the depth that's going to allow for our sticker and our magnet to sit flush. We'll stop periodically and check. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Now we will drill our 5/16 holes where our dowels are going to go. Okay, so let's see what depth these need to be cut to. So we're going to slide our blade on there, if it'll let us. There we go. This isn't the roundest of dowels, that's for sure. Okay. Just gonna mark this with a pencil. Actually, you know what? I think we'll just cut this with a flush cut saw right here. So we got the dowel in there, so we're just gonna flush cut it to the proper height. That's one thing nice about a flush cut saw is the teeth all face in one direction, so I'm not touching the blade. I am using wood. Maybe I should have used like brass rod or something, but I don't think there's gonna be that much stress on the pin. It's just to keep the blade aligned and from sliding around. And we'll do the same on the second hole. Okay, so what we'll probably do, I'm going to glue my dowels in, and we'll get my magnet in there, then we'll put the blade back on, and we will totally flush these to the blade with a piece of sandpaper. What I have here is I guess some sort of tile. Let's see what it says here. Oh, it's marble. So it's a piece of marble that we use as a threshold, and it's got some stick down sandpaper to it. This is reasonably flat enough to do this. So now we're just gonna sand these dowels even with the blade. trying to keep the edge, the cutting edge off the paper. You probably will have to put an edge on it. All right. I think we're pretty good. Starting to put a scratch pattern on the blade itself. So we're just about flat enough. Yeah, I think we're gonna roll with that. All right, so let's get some sanding on this, which I'm gonna do off camera, and I'll put some finish on it, and we will come back and see what we got. Now you can see that this is a fairly simple build, and if you have the stuff laying around, I'm sure plenty of you guys have old planes you don't use. You could take the blade from that. You could purchase the blade. Everyone has scrap wood laying around, so you could definitely make this on your own. Now, I have set up here, I have a glued up panel with glue on both sides, and I have a piece of wood that I put a dowel in to show you how you can flush. So what I used to do is use an old beater chisel to clean up my glue squeeze out, like this. Sometimes though, when you're running this, you gouge the wood and now you have more sanding and stuff to do. And I would use a better chisel, of course, but I would flush a dowel, like I have here, and I'd run flat and clean up my dowel like this and then do my final sanding. And we're gonna show you how this is gonna make it a lot easier. So let's bring the camera and you can take a look. To make the job easier, I have a bench hook here that's gonna be used to keep my board in place so it's not slipping around when I'm trying to use the new flushing plane. So basically, we got a glue squeeze out here. We're just gonna use the plane and look at that, right off. It does a pretty good job. We'll do the other side too. Start here. And then a big chunk here. And you can see it's taking it all up. And I had a little bit of a pull up here. Okay, so now we have our dowel. We're gonna wanna flush this dowel to the surface. So we're gonna take our plane and we're gonna simply cut right through it. And there we go, we got a nice flush surface, a little sanding, and everything is good to go. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a simple tool to make. You get out in your shop and make one and see how it works for you. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't yet, please go down below, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment down below and tell us what you think about this new tool. Okay, we'll see you on the next one.